Listen to me. Not tomorrow, not when the time feels right, not when the noise of the world quiets down. Now, because this moment isn't ordinary. It's not just another passing second. It's your wake-up call. For too long, you've been suffocating under the weight of your own doubts, drowning in the echoes of voices that told you you're not enough. But let me tell you something. You're here. You're still standing, aren't you? Wants to begin anew, wants to make something better. Okay, we gotta get very serious for a minute. But understand that moments like these define what you become. That means there's more to your story, and you're closer to rewriting it than you think. You feel it, don't you? That ache in your chest, the one that whispers, is this it? Is this all I'll ever be? It's not just pain, it's potential. Knocking, screaming to be let out. You've been walking through life like a shadow, as though you're invisible, forgotten. But deep down, you know the truth. You're not meant to stay in the background. You were never meant to dim your light for someone else's comfort. So why are you still hiding? Why are you letting the world define your worth? They've seen your weakness, haven't they? They've judged you for it, labeled you, and tucked you neatly into a box that fits their idea of who you are. But let me ask you this. Are you gonna let them be right? Are you going to sit there while they write your story for you? Or are you gonna stand up, grab the pen, and carve a new ending into the pages of your life? This is not the time for passive listening. This is not the time for nodding along and waiting for someone else to save you. Because no one is coming. No one is going to show up with a magic wand and erase the hurt, the shame, the regret. It's on you. And that's not a curse. It's your greatest gift. You have the power to change this narrative right here, right now. But only if you stop making excuses and start taking action. Let's be honest. You've been stuck, haven't you? You've been replaying the same old stories in your head, convincing yourself that this is all there is, that you're too broken to be fixed, that the world has already made up its mind about you. But listen closely. The world's opinion of you doesn't matter. What matters is what you decide to do next. The question isn't, can you rise? It's, will you? You're not the only one who's struggled. Every person who's ever achieved greatness has been where you are now. Lost, scared, beaten down by life. They weren't handed their strength on a silver platter. They forged it in the fires of pain and doubt. And you can too. But first, you need to understand that pain isn't your enemy. It's your ally. It's the thing that will shape you into the warrior you're meant to be. Think about it. Every scar you carry is proof that you survived something that was meant to destroy you. Every tear you've shed is a testament to your resilience. And every time you've hit rock bottom, you've been given a choice. Stay there or claw your way back up. You've chosen to get back up before. You can do it again. I know you're tired. I know you're angry. Angry at the world for being cruel. Angry at the people who let you down. And maybe, just maybe, angry at yourself for not being stronger. But anger isn't a weakness, it's fuel. Use it. Let it ignite something inside you that's been dormant for too long. Let it remind you that you're alive, and as long as you're alive, you have a chance to change everything. This is your story, and it's time to take control of it. No more waiting for the perfect moment, because it doesn't exist. The only moment you have is this one. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to let it slip through your fingers like all the others? Or are you going to grab hold of it, seize it, and make it count? The world saw your weakness. They watched you stumble and fall. They whispered behind your back, doubted you to your face, and waited for you to fail. But they didn't see what's coming next. They didn't see the strength that's been building inside you, the fire that's about to erupt. They think they know you, but they don't. They've only seen a fraction of what you're capable of. You've been underestimated your entire life, haven't you? They told you to play small, to stay quiet, to know your place. But deep down, you've always known that their version of you wasn't the real you. The real you is fierce. The real you is unstoppable. And the real you is ready to emerge. So here's the deal. This isn't just another motivational speech. This isn't about warm, fuzzy feelings that fade as soon as the words stop. This is about action, transformation, power. It's about looking at yourself in the mirror and finally seeing the person you were always meant to be. It's about proving to yourself and to the world that you are so much more than they ever gave you credit for. This is the beginning of your revolution, and revolutions aren't quiet. They're messy, loud, and unapologetic. So are you ready? Because this is your moment. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, now. The world may have seen your weakness, but what happens next will leave them speechless. You've been carrying this weight for so long, haven't you? It's the kind of heaviness that settles deep in your bones, a silent ache that never truly goes away. It wakes up with you in the morning and clings to you like a shadow at night. It's not just exhaustion. It's the hollow, numbing fatigue of constantly fighting battles that no one else seems to notice. Battles inside your own mind. Battles you're not even sure you can win. You felt invisible, haven't you? Like you're screaming into a void and no one hears you. The world keeps spinning, people keep moving, and you're left standing still, wondering if you even matter. You've watched others rise while you stayed stuck, as if some invisible hand pressed you down every time you tried to climb. You tell yourself it's just the way things are, but deep down, it eats away at you. The question that haunts you, why not me? And then there's rejection. Oh, the sting of it. Doesn't just bruise, it carves itself into your soul. You've put yourself out there, hoping, praying for someone to see you, to accept you, to value, but instead, they passed you, dismissed you, discarded you like you were nothing. Those moments, they linger. They replay in your head like a broken record, each time cutting a little deeper. You've felt the shame, haven't you? That sharp, biting shame of failure. It's like a spotlight that exposes all your flaws, leaving you nowhere to hide. Every misstep, every wrong decision, it's as if they've been etched onto your skin for the world to see. You tell yourself you're learning, that failure is part of growth. But there are days when it feels like the failures define you more than anything else. The doubt creeps in, whispering, what if I'm just not good enough? And then there's fear, the kind that doesn't just knock on your door but moves in and makes itself at home. Fear of trying and falling flat on your face. Fear of speaking up and being silenced. Fear of standing out and being torn apart. It's paralyzing, isn't it? It wraps itself around you like chains, holding you back every time you muster the courage to take a step forward. But the cruelest villain of all? The one that lives inside your own head, the voice of self-doubt that tells you over and over again that you'll never measure up. It's relentless, isn't it? It doesn't just criticize, it condemns. It doesn't just question, it tears apart. You're not smart enough, you're not strong enough, you're not worthy. You hear it so often, you've started to believe it. That voice, it's the one that has convinced you to settle for less, to shrink yourself, to fade into the background. And let's not forget the weight of expectations. Society has a way of pressing down on you, doesn't it? Telling you who you should be, how you should act, what you should want. You've tried to fit their mold, to play by their rules, but it always feels wrong. Like you're betraying yourself just to keep them satisfied. The result? A life that feels more like a performance than a reality. I see you. I see the pain you've carried, the nights you've spent questioning your worth, the mornings you've forced yourself to rise despite the heaviness in your heart. I see the mask you wear, the brave face you put on for the world while inside you're barely holding it together. And I want you to know this, your pain is valid, your struggles are real. You don't have to pretend they're not. You're not weak for feeling broken. You're not a failure because you've fallen. You're human, and being human means feeling deeply, struggling fiercely, and yes, sometimes losing your way. But let me tell you something, the fact that you're here right now reading these words proves something extraordinary. It proves that even when life knocked you down, you didn't stay there. Even when the darkness threatened to swallow you whole, you held on. You're still fighting, even if it doesn't feel like it. And that makes you stronger than you realize. Let's talk about those scars you carry. Not the ones the world can see, but the invisible ones. The ones etched into your soul. They tell a story, don't they? A story of battles fought and survived. Of wounds that hurt like hell, but didn't kill you. Those scars, they're not marks of shame. They're badges of honor. They're proof that you've endured. Proof that you've risen time and time again. But I know what you're thinking. Why does it still hurt so much? Because healing isn't linear. Growth isn't painless. Transformation doesn't come without struggle. You've been fighting battles you were never prepared for, carrying burdens you never asked for. And through it all, you've been so focused on surviving that you've forgotten one crucial thing. You are more than your pain. The villains in your story, fear, doubt, rejection, expectations, they're not invincible. They may feel overwhelming, but they're not unbreakable. And neither are you. Because within you, beneath the layers of hurt and struggle, there's a strength that's been waiting to be unleashed. A strength that's been forged in the fire of every hardship you've endured. You're not alone in this. You're not the only one who's been knocked down, counted out, overlooked. There are countless others who've faced the same struggles, who've felt the same pain. But you know what separates those who rise from those who stay stuck? The decision to fight. The choice to keep going, even when it feels impossible. So here's what I want you to understand. Your struggles don't define you. Your pain doesn't own you. Your villains may have had their say, but they don't get to write the final chapter of your story. That's your job. And the pen is in your hands. You've been here before, haven't you? The bottom of the pit. The place where the walls are too high, too steep, too smooth to climb. It's suffocating, isn't it? The air is thick with the weight of everything you've lost, everything you've failed to achieve, and everything you fear will never be. You sit there in the darkness, unable to see a way out. It's as if the world has forgotten you entirely. And maybe, just maybe, you've started to believe that's what you deserve. This is rock bottom, the kind of place that steals your breath, your hope, your will. You try to tell yourself it's temporary, But the days blur together into weeks, into months, into years, and still, you're stuck. The voices in your head grow louder. You'll never escape this. This is your life now. Accept it. And part of you does. Part of you gives in to the idea that maybe you're meant to be here, that this place of despair is where you belong. You start to see your life through the lens of what could have been. The opportunities you missed, the dreams you let slip away. They haunt you, don't they? Like ghosts that linger at the edges of your mind, reminding you of the person you once wanted to be. You think about the moments where you could have spoken up, but stayed silent. The chances you could have taken, but didn't. The love you could have fought for, but let slip through your fingers. And the regret? It burns. It doesn't just hurt, it consumes. The table begins swiveling as everyone sits in silence, shocked. What's worse is the realization that the world keeps moving without you. You see others achieving what you once dreamed of, living the life you wanted for yourself. And no matter how much you try to be happy for them, it feels like another reminder of your own failure, another twist of the knife in the wound that never seems to heal. You look at them and think, why not me? What did I do wrong? The inaction starts to feel like quicksand. Every day you stay in this place, the harder it becomes to imagine leaving it. You tell yourself it's safer here, that trying again would only lead to more pain, more rejection, more failure. But deep down, you know the truth. Staying here is killing you. It's eroding your spirit, bit by bit, day by day. And if you're not careful, one day you'll wake up and realize you've let your entire life slip away. The worst part? The hopelessness. The gnawing belief that no matter what you do, nothing will ever change. You look at the world and see barriers where others see opportunities. You see closed doors where others see possibilities. It's not that you don't want to try, it's that you don't believe trying will make a difference. Then you find the same is true of you. There's no leadway to anything. Everything must be somehow connect. And that hopelessness? It's a thief. It steals your dreams, your courage, your very will to fight. But here's the thing about rock bottom. It's the only place where the foundation is laid bare. It's where you can see, with brutal clarity, the truth of who you are and what you've endured. Yes, it's painful. Yes, it's dark. But it's also honest. And in that honesty, there's something precious. A tiny, flickering ember of possibility. Because if you're at the bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. I know it doesn't feel like it right now. I know the idea of climbing out feels impossible. But let me ask you this. If you've survived this long through all the pain, the heartbreak, the loss, what does that say about you? It says you're stronger than you think. It says you're capable of enduring more than you ever imagined. And if you've endured, you can rebuild. The consequences of staying here are clear. Missed opportunities, broken relationships, unlived dreams, a life half-lived. But the consequences of trying, of fighting your way out, that's where the unknown lives. That's where the possibility of something better resides. It's terrifying, yes, but it's also thrilling, because the life you want is still out there, waiting for you to claim it. And here's the secret. The fact that you're still breathing, still reading these words, means you haven't given up. Not entirely. There's still a part of you, no matter how small, that believes change is possible. That glimmer of hope, that's your lifeline. It's the rope you can grab onto when everything else feels lost. So let me plant this seed in your mind. What if this isn't the end? What if this is the turning point? What if the pain you're feeling right now is the fire that will forge you into something stronger, something unstoppable? The world has seen you at your lowest, yes, but they haven't seen what happens when you rise, because you will rise. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday. And when you do, you'll look back on this moment, not with shame, but with pride. Pride that you survived. Pride that you fought your way out. Pride that you refused to let this darkness define you. This isn't where your story ends. It's where it begins. Do you feel that? That spark stirring deep within you, faint but undeniable? It's not just hope. It's power. It's the part of you that refuses to be extinguished, no matter how dark things have gotten. That spark? It's your strength, waiting to be unleashed. It's time to rewrite your narrative, to take that pain and turn it into the foundation of something unbreakable. You see, pain doesn't just destroy, it transforms. Think about a seed buried deep in the soil. From above, it looks like it's been swallowed by darkness, forgotten and buried. But beneath the surface, something incredible is happening. The pressure, the soil, the confinement. It's not the end, it's the beginning. That seed is growing, reaching for the light it cannot yet see. And when it breaks through, it's stronger for having endured the weight of the earth. That seed is you. Your scars, they tell a story. Not a story of weakness, but of survival. Every mark, every wound is proof that you fought, that you endured. They are not signs of failure, they are your armor. Think of a warrior who walks onto the battlefield with scars etched across their skin. Those scars don't make them weaker, they make them fierce. they make them formidable. And you are that warrior. It's time to stop hiding your scars and start wearing them with pride. Let's be honest. You've been holding yourself back. You've allowed fear to dictate your choices, doubt to cloud your vision, and pain to paralyze you. Curse, you've convinced yourself that you're too broken, too flawed, too far gone to change. But here's the truth. That voice in your head, the one that whispers you can't, it's a liar. It's been lying to you for years, feeding on your insecurities and keeping you small. And now it's time to silence it. You're stronger than you think. You've proven that by surviving everything that was meant to break you. You've been through storms that would have drowned others, walked through fires that would have consumed them, and yet here you are, still standing, still breathing. That's not weakness, that's resilience, that's power. But power without action is wasted. It's not enough to feel strong. You have to act strong. And you have to take that strength and use it to climb out of the pit you've been stuck in. And that starts with a choice. The choice to stop being a victim of your circumstances and start being the hero of your story. The choice to fight, even when it feels impossible. The choice to believe in yourself, even when no one else does. Think of a phoenix, a creature that is consumed by fire, reduced to ashes. To an outsider, it looks like the end, but to the phoenix, it's a transformation. It rises from those ashes, more powerful than before. That's you. The fire you've been through hasn't destroyed you, it's forged you. And now, it's time to rise. I know what you're thinking, but how? How do I rise when I've been down for so long? The answer is simple, but not easy. One step at a time. You don't have to climb the entire mountain today. You just have to take the first step, and then the next, and then the next. Progress isn't about speed, it's about persistence. It's about refusing to quit, no matter how steep the climb. Start by rewriting the story you tell yourself. Stop saying, I'm not enough. Start saying, I am more than enough. Stop saying, I can't. Start saying, I will. Words have power. The stories you tell yourself shape the reality you live in. So choose words that empower you, not ones that hold you back. Next, surround yourself with people who lift you up. People who see your potential and push you to reach it. Cut out the ones who tear you down, who feed your doubts, who make you feel small. Your environment matters. It can either fuel your growth or stifle it. Choose wisely. And finally, let go of the idea that you have to be perfect to move forward. Perfection is a myth, a trap designed to keep you stuck. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to start. Progress is messy. Growth is uncomfortable. But it's in that discomfort that you find your strength. So here's my challenge to you. Stop waiting. Stop waiting for the pain to fade, for the fear to disappear, for the right time to come. There is no perfect moment. There is only now, and now is the time to act. Now is the time to fight. Now is the time to rise. Because when you do, when you take that first step, when you begin to climb, you'll realize something incredible. The weight that once held you down, it's not just gone, it's become the fuel that propels you forward. The pain that once consumed you, it's not just a memory, it's the foundation of your strength. The doubts that once whispered, you can't, they've been drowned out by the roar of, I can. This is your turning point. This is where the story shifts. Not because someone saved you, but because you saved yourself. Not because the world gave you a break, but because you refused to break. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are a force to be reckoned with, and the world hasn't even begun to see what you're capable of. It's time to rise, to grow, to become the person you were always meant to be. The world saw your weakness, but now they will witness your strength, and there is nothing more powerful than that. Can you feel it? That shift, that flicker of recognition deep within you, the realization that maybe, just maybe, this isn't where your story ends. This is the moment where everything changes. The moment where you look in the mirror and see not the person the world has beaten down, but the person you were always meant to become. This is your awakening. For so long you've been caged by fear, by doubt, by the lies you've been told about who you are and what you're capable of. But here's the thing about cages. They don't just trap the weak, they trap the powerful. You are not weak, you are not powerless. You've been like a lion, pacing within a cage, forgetting that you have claws, that you have teeth, that your roar can shake the earth. That cage, it's not locked. It never was. The only thing keeping you inside is the belief that you belong there, but you don't. Imagine for a moment the force of a storm, the way it rages, howls, and tears through everything in its path. That's the kind of strength you carry inside you. It's been buried, hidden beneath layers of pain and hesitation, but it's there. And now, it's time to let it loose. Because the truth is, the world has underestimated you, and that's their mistake. They saw your scars and thought they were weaknesses. Every day they think you held soft their lands. They find themselves taken from behind and not knew it. They look to you for protection while thinking it would help. They didn't realize they were battle marks, proof that you've survived things that would break others. You are not the victim of this story. You are the survivor. You are the warrior. And warriors don't crumble under pressure. They rise. They fight. They thrive. Look back at everything you've been through. The heartbreaks, the failures, the nights you thought you wouldn't make it. And yet, here you are. Not broken, not defeated, but alive. Do you know what that means? It means you're stronger than the things that tried to destroy you. Your identity is not defined by the worst moments of your life. It's not defined by the opinions of others, the mistakes you've made, or the times you've fallen short. Your identity is forged by how you rise from those moments, by the strength you find in the struggle, by the courage you summon when the odds are stacked against you. It's time to reclaim that identity, to stand tall and declare, "This is who I am, and I will not be defined by anything less than my strength." Think about a phoenix, reduced to ashes, nothing but dust and remnants of what once was. To anyone watching, it looks like the end, but it's not. From those ashes rises something even more powerful, more radiant than before. That's you. The fire you've been through hasn't consumed you, it's transformed you. And now, it's time to rise from those ashes and show the world the unstoppable force you've become. If you want to change the world, they need to hear it. This is your declaration of strength. This is the moment where you stop apologizing for who you are, where you stop shrinking yourself to fit the mold that others created for you, where you stop doubting your worth and start owning your power. Stand tall, look the world in the eye, and say, "You thought I was weak, you thought I was broken, but you were wrong. I am unbreakable, I am unstoppable, I am everything you never thought I could be." Feel that? That's the power that's been inside you all along. The world didn't give it to you, and the world can't take it away. It's yours, and now it's time to use it. The choices you make from this moment forward will define the rest of your story. Will you stay in the shadows, letting the past dictate your future? Or will you step into the light, reclaim your narrative, and show the world the strength they never saw coming? This is your turning point, the moment when everything shifts, the moment when you take control. You've spent enough time believing the lies, that you're not enough, that you're too broken, that you'll never be anything more than what you are now. But those lies don't define you, you do, and you have the power to rewrite every single one of them. Here's the truth. You are powerful, not because you're fearless, but because you face your fears anyway. Not because you're perfect, but because you've learned from your imperfections. Artists are both. They live outside time, they live, they die. They become, not because life has been easy, but because you've risen through the storms. That power, it's yours to wield. Not someday, not when the world decides you're ready, but now. So take a deep breath. Feel the strength in your lungs, the fire in your veins, the determination in your heart. This is who you are. This is what you're capable of, and this is your moment to rise. The world saw your weakness, but now they will witness your strength. Let them watch. Let them see what happens when a lion remembers how to roar, when a warrior picks up their sword, when a phoenix rises from the ashes. Because this is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your triumph. This is it. The moment where words meet action, the time to stop dreaming and start doing. Because no matter how powerful your realization, no matter how fierce your resolve, change only happens when you act. And this is your challenge to rise. Challenge to rise. I'm not asking you to take small steps anymore. I'm demanding that you rise, to stand tall, to shake off the weight of your past, and to move forward with unrelenting determination. Rise not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Rise not because someone is going to lift you up, but because you have the strength to lift yourself. Look at the life you've been living, the pain, the regret, the fear. Is that the legacy you want to leave behind, or will you choose to rise above it? The choice is yours, and it starts now. Transform pain into power. The pain you've endured is not a punishment, it's a gift. It's the fire that has shaped you, the crucible that has forged your strength. It's time to stop seeing your struggles as obstacles and start seeing them as stepping stones. Every heartbreak, every failure, every scar, they've taught you something. They've given you tools, wisdom, and resilience. Use them. Don't let your pain define you. Let it refine you. Turn it into fuel and let it drive you toward the life you deserve. Roadmap for the future. Change doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with a single decision: to act. Here's your roadmap. Take it step by step. Define your vision. Close your eyes and picture the life you want. Be specific. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Write it down. This is your destination, your North Star. Without a clear vision, you'll drift. But with one, you'll have a direction, a purpose. Set tangible goals. Break that vision into smaller, actionable goals. What can you do today, this week, this month to move closer to it? Goals give you momentum, and momentum creates change. Start small, but start now. Let go of the past. You can't move forward if you're dragging the weight of your past behind you. Forgive yourself, forgive others, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. Cut the ties that hold you back and step into the future unburdened. Surround yourself with strength. Find people who inspire you, challenge you, and believe in you. Let go of those who drain your energy and feed your doubts. Your circle matters, choose it wisely. Take one bold step. Change begins with action. Do one thing today that scares you. Speak up, take a risk, or push past the limit you've imposed on yourself. Second part, the two-step perspective at its base is self-discipline. Bold steps create bold outcomes. Build discipline. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. Create routines, stick to them. Success is built on the foundation of consistent, small actions over time. Celebrate progress. Don't wait until you've reached the finish line to celebrate. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Acknowledge it. Use it as fuel to keep going. You've heard the call. You've felt the fire. Now it's time to act, to rise, to claim the life that's waiting for you. The world saw your weakness, but that's not the end of your story. What they're about to see is your strength, the kind of strength that changes everything. So go ahead, take that first step, and then another, and another. Build a life so fierce, so full of purpose that when people see you, they don't just see someone who survived, they see someone who thrived. And when doubt creeps in, when fear whispers in your ear, remember this: you've already faced the worst and come out the other side. You've already proven that you're stronger than the pain, braver than the fear, and more resilient than the circumstances that tried to break you. This is your time. Your story is yours to write. Pick up the pen and make it unforgettable. Rise because the world is watching. Rise because you owe it to yourself. Rise because the strength within you has been waiting for this moment. They thought they saw your weakness, but now they'll witness your strength. Go, show them who you are. This is the final chapter of this journey, but it's not the end. It's the beginning of yours. Now that we've traveled through the depths of pain and despair, confronted the villains that held you back, and ignited the fire within you, it's time to reflect on where you've been, celebrate who you've become, and step forward with unshakable confidence in what's ahead. Look back for a moment, not to dwell, but to honor how far you've come. Remember the weight you carried, the darkness that threatened to swallow you whole. Remember the nights when you felt invisible, hopeless, like the world had passed you by. You stood in the face of rejection, failure, and fear. You've battled your doubts, your demons, and the lies you were told about who you are and what you're worth. You were broken, you were lost, but you were never defeated. Through each step of this journey, you've transformed. You've seen your pain not as an end, but as the beginning of your strength. You've taken the power back from the forces that tried to diminish you. You've faced yourself, the good, the bad, and the broken, and chosen to rise anyway. That's what makes you unstoppable. Because no one rises without first falling. No one grows without first being planted in the dark. This script wasn't about teaching you something new. It was about reminding you of something you've always known. You are enough. You've always been enough. Let's take a moment to honor your resilience. You've endured what others couldn't. You've survived what was meant to destroy you. And now you stand here. Scarred, yes, but stronger because of it. Every scar you carry is a badge of honor, proof that you've faced the storms and emerged on the other side. Think about the strength you've uncovered. It's not new. It's been within you all along. The power to rise, to rebuild, to overcome. It's yours. It's always been yours. The world may have tried to bury you, but they forgot that you're a seed, destined to grow. The fire they meant to destroy you only forged you into something unbreakable. You're no longer the person who once felt powerless. You've claimed your strength. You've rewritten your story, and you've done it not because someone handed you the answers, but because you've found them within yourself. That's real power, the kind that no one can take from you. Celebrate that. Celebrate the courage it took to face your pain, the determination it took to rise, and the resilience that has brought you here. You are not the same person you were when this journey began. You are more. As we close this chapter, take this with you. Your journey doesn't end here. It begins here. You will face new challenges, new setbacks, new fears. But you've already proven that you can overcome them. You've already shown that no matter how many times you're knocked down, you'll rise again. When the doubts return, and they will, remind yourself of this moment. Remind yourself of the strength you've claimed and the battles you've won. When fear tries to paralyze you, remember the lion within you, the phoenix that rose from the ashes, the warrior who wears their scars like armor. You are that lion, you are that phoenix, you are that warrior. Your story is far from over. In fact, it's just beginning. The life you want is within reach, but it's up to you to take it. Keep moving forward, keep growing, keep rising, because every step you take, every choice you make, brings you closer to the person you're destined to be. So go, build a life that reflects the strength you've found. Now, only now, do you experience fulfillment and fulfillment. Create a future that honors the battles you fought, and when the world watches, and they will, let them see not the scars of your pain, but the radiance of your resilience. This is your legacy, not the weakness they once saw, but the strength they will never forget. You've stood in the darkness, you've faced the storms, you've felt the weight of despair, but you've also risen, you've fought, you've transformed, and now it's time to step into the light, not as the person they thought you were, but as the person you've become. Strong, fierce, unstoppable. The world saw your weakness, but now they witness your strength, and there's no turning back. Go, live boldly, rise unapologetically, and never, ever let anyone, including yourself, doubt what you're capable of again. This is your time.